I was meant to be meeting up with Daisy this week. We were going to have a little jam, do some harmonising, maybe write some songs, and we were going to talk about that time that I met Paul McCartney and that time that she met Paul McCartney. But for obvious reasons, we've decided that's probably best that we stay in our houses this week. And we thought, can we still do this little interview that we were going to do this little jam that we were going to do? And we thought, we'll do it, we're going to try. So we've recorded a little song for you, which you'll hear later. And we're going to try and do a little interview. So, hi Daisy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
This idea for us to meet up came about anyway because we both had an encounter with the magnificent Paul McCartney. And we were going to have a little talk about it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about when you met Paul? Take it away.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte. Well, I met Paul many years ago now. I wish I could remember the exact date. But I met him because when I was about maybe 17 or 18, I was still at school. And I met him because I was actually in a band called All Angels, who were a classical crossover band, 4 of us singing together in harmony. And we had been nominated for the Classical Brit Award that year, and so had Paul McCartney, funnily enough, and a few other pretty famous people that I admired, like Sting. And so they were all there, and they were, well, Paul wasn't performing, but he was attending, and Sting was performing. But anyway, so we were performing as part of this event at the Albert Hall. And so we'd performed a few songs, and then he and I was always singing the low notes in the a cappella songs in our group, which is funny because I'm singing the high part in this one. Actually, Charlotte has a pretty low voice, so I'm for once I'm singing the higher part, which is cool. But yeah, I was singing the low part in this ensemble, and afterwards we went down to the bit with the tables and all the people were milling about, and Paul McCartney appears, and the 4 of us are like, oh my gosh, it's Paul McCartney, we have to meet him, of course. And so somehow I think our manager managed to make it happen so that he was standing there and we were meeting him, and so we all got to shake his hand and got a picture taken with him, and then he started chatting to the group, to us, and just at that point a friend of mine from Scotland, a singer friend, tapped me on my shoulder and said, Daisy, long time no see. And I was like, not now. And all I wanted to do was like ignore him and speak to Paul McCartney, but I couldn't do that. So I was, because I felt like it would be the wrong choice to make morally. And so I ended up turning around and greeting my friend, and we had a little chat while the rest of the group talked to Paul McCartney. Anyway, then Paul McCartney went on his way. Of course, everybody wanted to meet him, and but luckily my bandmates were very kind, and they told me that he had asked the group, "Who's that singing the low notes?" I can't do a Liverpudlian Scouse accent, so I don't even go there. But you can imagine in his voice, and they all pointed to me with, my back was to the group at this point. And then he just gave me a big thumbs up, apparently, and said that was great. And so for some reason he noticed the low notes, because I guess he's a bass player or something, I don't know. But anyway, so I did kind of get a second-hand compliment via the rest of the group. So I'm quite happy that I got that at least to take away, and also a picture. Please, Charlotte, tell me about your story.
Oh, thank you, Daisy. That was such a great story. My story actually involves a thumbs up from Paul McCartney too. So between us, we got 2 thumbs up from the big Paul. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I was busking at Charing Cross Station, as I often am. I'm busking all over London, but I was in Charing Cross Station, and I hadn't played many songs at this point. I opened with Here Comes the Sun. Didn't get a single penny, not a drop. I played one of my own songs. It's called Hello and Hi, and it's about being left completely speechless by somebody. As I was finishing that song, I got some money in my case, so I thanked the person, and as I looked down, sort of double took, because in my head it was like that. At first I thought that man looked so much like Paul McCartney, and then as he started to sort of stand upright, I thought this is Paul McCartney. There is no way in the world that is not Paul McCartney. So I said, oh, thanks, Paul. Which I feel like in my head I was thinking, say something else, anything. But I just couldn't think of anything to say. I thought, should I say you're such an inspiration? I love your music. I play so many of your songs, but they just all sounded so like cliched, and like I knew that he would have heard them before, and they felt almost meaningless. So he sort of gave me a little knowing nod, and then he was off, and he was very quick-footed. He was very quick on his feet. So when I thought, oh, he's gone now. So I thought, what can I do? Because I really wish that I'd said I'd let him know how inspiring I found him. So I decided to play one of his own songs as a sort of message to him that nobody else, because I couldn't say into the microphone, "Hey Paul," because he was obviously trying to keep on a sort of low profile in Charing Cross Station in London. He didn't want to be noticed, I'm sure. I thought, if I play a Beatles song, who's going to think twice about a busker playing a Beatles song? We all do it. and it'll be a little message to him that I'm a big fan. So I played "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and I just watched him. I just like stared in the direction that he'd gone, just to sort of think, I hope maybe he'll come back, I don't know. But he turned back and he gave me a thumbs up. And I was really, really proud of that. And then after I'd finished playing "I Want to Hold Your Hand," a man came over and he said, "Sorry to interrupt, but do you know who that was?" I was like, yeah. And he said, "It was him, wasn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was." And he said, "I couldn't believe my eyes." And I was really relieved, actually, that somebody else had seen him, because there's a part of me that sort of thought, did I dream that? Because that was a really surreal moment. And I sort of thought about it on my way home. I thought, was it him? He has been spotted before on those kind of overground trains that you catch from Charing Cross. And the other thing that made me feel quite assured that it was him, because you do start to doubt yourself in these sorts of situations. It was so fleeting and I didn't get a photo, and I just think, what, was it really him? Like, did I imagine it? But another busker friend of mine, Amy Weir, she's had a drop from Paul McCartney before. She actually got some words from Paul. I don't know if she'll mind telling her story. Sorry, Amy, if you do. I'm not gonna try and do the Scouse accent either. She was sure that it was him because his voice was so iconic. So I guess he's dropped to other buskers before. It's not uncommon for him to be seen in Charing Cross Station dropping money for buskers. Just like with Daisy's story about him recognising her low notes, he's just a big appreciator of music, and wherever he finds it, he shows his appreciation. I feel really just lucky to have been in the right place, right time, for him to have been passing by. I hope I'm back there again when all of this is over. I hope I'm able to go back to Charing Cross Station and maybe bump into him again. But I've been a really big Beatles fan my whole life. I'm sure Daisy has as well. And Daisy and I actually played a gig together in February at St Pancras Old Church, which was the venue for a photo shoot of the Beatles for their compilation CD. And there's a couple of photos of them hanging out outside St Pancras Old Church. And because we were gigging in that venue, we decided to do a Beatles song as a duet. So we've recorded this remotely. You ready to sing our song together, Daisy? Hold up your banjo if you're ready. She's ready. I'll get my guitar. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Oh, I believe in yesterday.